Good morning, Tottenham fans. Have you come down to earth yet? Have you come down from the clouds since Spurs qualified for the final of the Europa League? I'm still buzzing, but there's a case of having to play some Premier League games before that happens. Next up is Crystal Palace at home. And it's going to be one of those games again, as Palace have got nothing to play for. They've got a cup final next week. We've got nothing to play for in the league. We've got a cup final in a couple of weeks. Both teams will be mostly prioritising that, I assume. It just feels like it's going to be one of those games like last week when we played West Ham and both teams not really interested in playing. I think it's going to be a bit of a dull affair. I'm not sure if Crystal Palace will rest players or they will try and still build cohesion and match sharpness ready for next week. I'm not sure what they're going to do. If they played their first team, they played the first team. I think we're going to make lots and lots of changes. I think Dancer will be playing. I think Gray will be playing. I think Sarr will be starting. Hopefully, I'm hoping Mikey Moore will get a start. We've got Spence will get a start as well, so we've got some good players playing. But I can't see the motivation from both teams. I can't see it. Where's the motivation going to come from? Yes, it's a London derby, but so was the Tottenham West Ham game last week, and both teams just didn't seem up for it, or they was both very cautious about getting injuries. One thing I do not want is injuries. We need all our players fit and sharp and ready to go. What Spurs need to do, and it's a bit of a conundrum for Ange Postecoglou, is he's got to work out who needs to match fitness, who needs to match sharpness, who needs to be rested, who is he going to rest, and, well, who's he going to risk, really, basically, because that the Europa League is our season. Whether we like it or not, whether we like it that we've lost 19 games this season, losing 22 games this season is bad, it's terrible, it's worse than ever. But if we won that Europa League, all of that for me wouldn't matter. I wouldn't care. We haven't got relegated. We can write off the season in the league and hold up a trophy, something we haven't done for 17 years, and say we'll move forward from here, So I want us to win. I've saying all that. I've got a funny feeling we're going to win as well. I think we're going to beat Palace at home. Postecoglou did come out and say that he wanted to keep the momentum going. He did say that the fans, that travel all the way to Norway and all the fans that have been backing him through thick and thin, he does want them to have good performances in the league too. So I'm sure whoever does play will turn up. I know we're going to make lots of changes, but the players that do play will turn up and they will play, but I just don't see the motivation to win like that. And that's key in football sometimes, I think you've got to have that buzz, you've got to have that energy, you've got to have that, we need to win today. Like, what's the team talk going to be? Come on, lads, let's do it for the fans. That's about it. I think they're going to say, let's do it for the fans. Let's hope they do. Let's hope they get a win. I think they will. For some reason, I think Palace were going to be a lot more wearier than us because their cup final was in, 6 days. They can't afford to get injuries to any main players. They're playing a top side in Manchester City. And, well, Man City played today, actually, and they didn't rest anybody, so maybe Palace won't. But let's say Crystal Palace didn't rest any players and they all started, all their first teamers started, and what kind of mindset are they going to be in? Are they going to be in the mindset of, I'm going to go in for every challenge, I'm going to win every second ball, I'm going to go up for every header? Or are they going to second think it and think, if I go in for this challenge, I may miss a final of a FA Cup with Crystal Palace, which hasn't happened for many, many years. Well, they haven't won for many, many years. And that could be legendary for that club. Are they going to risk it? So it's one of those games where, like, it's a write-off for both, really. It's both teams will be thinking of their finals. They definitely will be. I don't care what anybody says. If you've ever been in sport in your life and there's a top final coming up, I've done it myself playing football. I've had a league game before a cup final and I didn't want to get injured. you know, around my socks off. Don't get me wrong, but there were some challenges I thought, well, they're not worth it. They just weren't worth getting injured for a final. So I don't know what players' minds are like. They have to be professional. We all know that, and it'd be nice to win everything. If there was something to play for in the league, and we had a chance of getting in Europe, and that could be like something to fall back on if we didn't win the Europa League, then of course go for the win and do everything you can to win. But why would you risk it now? Like before, it was a quarter-final, and I was like, we still have to rest some players. Semi-final, it's getting really important now. But this is a final. We haven't won a Europa League for 41 years. It has to be our priority. And as much as everyone wants us to not lose any more games in the Premier League, I don't want to lose any more games. I really don't. But as much as we don't want to lose any more games, you have to take Europa League as priority. That's our season. So it's going to be one of those games. It just is. I think we'll get the victory. I'm going to go for a 2-1 to Spurs, I reckon. Depending who plays, to be honest. I'm not even sure who we're going to put out. Like I said, I really want Mikey Moore to get a start. I think it will give the fans a bit of a buzz if we did put a few youngsters out, Ajayi, put him back in again, put Mikey Moore in, maybe an Alfie Dorrington. Just put some of these guys in, and just it might like raise the crowd a bit. Do you remember when we played against Elfsborg and all of our youngsters scored? Scala, Ajayi, and Moore. That was brilliant for me to watch. It really was. I was so happy watching it. I know it was only a win against Elfsborg, but because it was all our academy players scoring the goals, it just felt like a proud moment to be a Spurs fan. So it would be nice if you could put out a few youngsters tomorrow and give them a run out, because we can't get relegated. We can finish probably about as high as 13th or 14th maybe. So it means nothing. As much as, you want to do it for the fans, but league-wise, I'm talking about, like points-wise, position-wise, it means nothing. It means everything to the fans. I know it does. Nobody wants to lose more games. And like I keep saying, Europa League needs to be priority. And I think Crystal Palace will have the same mindset anyway, as FA Cup needs to be priority for them, most definitely. They've got nothing to play for in the league either. It could end up being a boring draw. I've just got a funny feeling we might get a victory. We haven't actually lost in the last 3 games, so that's quite refreshing. We may even go again with another game and still not. If we didn't lose tomorrow, 4 games in a row without a loss, things are turning around maybe. But it does not matter. It really doesn't. Points-wise, league-wise, doesn't matter. Spurs just need to go out, put on a show for the fans. Maybe even get a victory. We could still get a victory. I think Tell will be playing. Odegaard might play. I know Odegaard had a grade 0 hamstring injury. I've never heard of a grade 0. So basically you haven't got a hamstring injury. You've got a tweak in your hamstring. That's what it is. It's a tweak. So they didn't risk him against Bodø Glimt. So Odegaard could be playing. Tell could be playing. Sonny might get minutes. I think Ange said Sonny might get minutes, so that'd be good. Moore may get minutes, so that'd be good. Spence, he's been a fantastic player for us this season. He's going to get minutes. Danso's a quality player. So there's no reason why we can't win, definitely. It's just if we do, it'll be more for the fans that came and paid their money than it will be for league position. And plus, it will give us a bit of momentum as well going into the Aston Villa game. But we all know, when we play Aston Villa next Friday, as it's been moved back, by the way, from Sunday, then we all know we're not going to be caring about that game whatsoever. I'm not going to care about it. I will put out all my youngsters for that game if I was manager. I really would. And I'll be concentrating on that Wednesday final next week. I really will. It's so important to this club. It's so important to Ange. It's so important to the fans. It's so important that this club gets a trophy. It deserves a trophy. The fans deserve a trophy, So let's pray and hope that we don't get any more injuries tomorrow and still get a victory as well. That would be amazing. And thank you for watching. Come on, you Spurs.